Hapkido is generally categorized into two main approaches, one that is rigid and linear, and another that is more fluid and circular. Its founder, grandmother Choi Young-sul, was born in 1904 and passed away in 1986. Although he played a crucial role in gathering and systematizing the traditional martial arts of China, Korea, and Japan within a single framework, his contributions did not receive widespread recognition during his lifetime, not even from his own students or in his homeland, Korea. This lack of acknowledgement was largely due to conflicts among his closest disciples. Over the past 2,000 years, Korean society has sought to establish its national identity by drawing upon various martial arts traditions from China and Japan. As a result of centuries of invasions and trade relations with its neighbors, China and Japan, multiple martial arts systems and disciplines emerged, known in Korean as *cosine sul* or defense techniques. On the Korean peninsula, Buddhist monks and Taoist scholars from China were among the first to introduce distinctive Chinese martial arts styles, such as Kung Fu, incorporating open hand strikes, kicks, and various joint locks and throws. For these monks, such techniques served as non-lethal alternatives in combat, aligning with their philosophical beliefs. It is believed that some of these monks passed their knowledge on to aristocratic Korean families, as they were responsible for their education. During the Joseon dynasty 1390–1910, Korea underwent a significant religious transformation, shifting from Buddhism to a more conservative form of Neo-Confucianism. This change led to the decline of martial arts, which were nearly abolished in favor of academia, the arts, music, literature, and poetry, as part of an effort to foster a peaceful and harmonious society. As a consequence, while some martial practices continued in secret, many others faded into obscurity over time.
After the fall of the Joseon dynasty, Korea underwent a dramatic Japanese occupation that began in 1910 and lasted for 35 years until the end of World War II in 1945. During this colonial period, the Korean people were subjected to a forced assimilation into Japanese culture, with restrictions on their language, traditional clothing, and cultural heritage. This oppression extended to native martial arts such as Taekyon, Subak, Kwan Bup, a Korean adaptation of Chinese boxing, Siram, hand-to-hand wrestling, Si Pal Ki, armed and unarmed combat, and Kick Sul, among others. The only martial arts permitted were Japanese disciplines like Judo, Karate-do, and Kendo. It was only after Japan's surrender in 1945 and Korea's subsequent liberation by the U.S. that the practice of all martial arts was legalized once again. In the years that followed, several modern Korean martial arts emerged, some incorporating influences from the previously imposed Japanese techniques. These included Taekwondo, Tang Soo Do, Hapkido, and Hapkido, a form of fencing. Various disciplines, including Taekyon, Kuk Sul, Sipaki, Subak, Siram, and Warang-do, emerged centuries ago, making them traditional Korean martial arts. Even today, many instructors uphold the belief that Hapkido is an ancient practice, driven by loyalty to their masters or the deep nationalist pride characteristic of the Korean people. However, it is known that this technique was systematically developed by its founders in the mid-20th century, between 1951 and 1959, during and after the Korean War, 1950 to 1953.
In its early days, Hapkido was primarily intended to eliminate opponents, as the urgency of the Korean War 1950–1953 required rapid preparation. Setting aside the philosophical foundations of the traditional martial arts from which its techniques originated. After the signing of the armistice in Panmunjom, peace was achieved, and over time, Some masters have sought to restore and revitalize the philosophy of Hapkido Taoist perspective. This approach has allowed Hapkido to embrace a clearer philosophy, guiding practitioners toward the pursuit of harmony not only with society and family but also within themselves.
Hapkido, a martial art with Japanese and Korean roots, has a rich history and ongoing debates about its methodological structuring. While its origin is undisputed, there is some controversy regarding who shaped its traditional form. In this context, two key figures played a crucial role in its consolidation. The first is Grandmaster Choi Yong-sul, 1904–1986, who introduced the knowledge of Data-ryu Aiki Jiu-Jitsu, a traditional jiu-jitsu style he had learned in Japan, to Korea. The second key figure is Ji Han-jae, one of Choi Yong-sul's earliest and most experienced students, who helped expand and promote Hapkido, even in the West.
Grandmaster Choi Yong-sul 1904–1986 was born in Korea and, during the Japanese occupation, was taken to Japan. His childhood included a failed adoption and years in a Buddhist temple. His fascination with samurai warriors led him to become a servant to Master Shokaku Takeda, the inheritor of the Date-to-Rire Aiki Jiu-Jitsu martial art. Under strict training, Choi adopted a new name and abandoned his Korean customs to avoid discrimination. Through perseverance, he earned the respect of the Takeda family and participated in exhibitions and battles. During World War II, he assisted the Japanese army in capturing deserters and bandits. Choi always regarded Master Takeda as a father, even years after his passing. Grand characters used to write Hapkido are the same as those in the Japanese martial art Aikido, differing only in pronunciation. This similarity arises, on one hand, from their shared origin in Date-to-Rire Aiki Jitsu, particularly in the ideograms Hapki and Aiki. On the other hand, the inclusion of the ideogram do in both names is coincidental, as despite having common technical and tactical foundations, they did not become connected until years after their creation.
Grandmaster Ji Han-jae claims to have been the first to introduce the name Hapkido in Seoul in 1957. However, this assertion is strongly disputed by Choi's first student, Grandmaster Su Bok-sup, who insists that both he and Grandmaster Choi were already using the term when Choi established his practice.